It's Our Story. Jack Catlin, Chicago, Illinois.
I broke my back and received a spinal cord injury 2 weeks before I graduated from undergraduate school. I had a degree in comprehensive design. It was a little bit about all types of different sort of design, a little bit about architecture, a little bit about photography, a little bit about art, a little bit about this, a little bit about furniture, a little bit about all sorts of things. Absolutely nothing I could do with that degree, nothing. But I broke my back 2 weeks before I was to graduate. This was in 1974. And spent 6 months in Chicago going through rehabilitation. Actually, that process took a full year, but I spent 6 months in acute care and rehabilitation, left that setting, went home, sat around and did nothing, interviewed for a job with the federal government, took a job with the federal government as a space planner, and about 2 months later got a call from the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago. They were looking for somebody to head up this program called Access Chicago. It was a design advocacy program that the Institute had up and running and wanted to continue with. And the purpose of that was to change the community. The Institute felt that there's no point in providing rehabilitation to all these people if the community couldn't accept them. And one of the major problems was architectural barriers. And so they wanted to hire me to go out and advocate for the removal of those barriers and to suggest how to design so that those barriers wouldn't be present at the time of design. And I loved it. I spent 3 years there advocating. And I realized during that process, and I actually worked with an architect from the Capital Development Board here in the state of Illinois, developing an accessibility standard for the state of Illinois that was modeled on what Ron Mace had done in North Carolina. An illustrated guide to designing environments that were barrier-free. And this architect from the Capital Development Board got me very interested in architecture. And I realized that if I wanted to pursue this, I needed to understand architecture. I needed to be an architect and understand the problems that architects, the problems that owners have with this. So after 3 years at the Institute, I left, went to graduate school here at the University of Illinois in Chicago, took a job as a regular architectural intern, draftsman at a firm here in the city, and spent 12 years as a regular architect. About 8 years into that, they passed the ADA. And the firm I was working for had clients, healthcare clients, that had questions about what they were required to do under the ADA. And so for some reason, they thought that I would be the right guy to look into this, to find out what their healthcare clients were required to do. So I started studying the ADA and what the architectural requirements under the ADA were, and loved it. I had a fairly good knowledge of what architects did, what they do, what clients expect of architects, what the architectural process was, and now I was beginning to integrate the accessibility on top of that, which is what I had wanted to do all along, was to be first an architect and then have, under the rubric of architecture, have a specialty in accessibility. And it worked. I developed more and more knowledge about the ADA and about accessibility from an architectural perspective. Provided that assistance to the clients, started to generate a client base of my own as a result of having this knowledge. Within the firm, I started generating this client base. In 1993, I got a call from Mark Abristo and Judy Heumann, who were working with the Clinton transition team, and asked if I wanted to serve on the U.S. Access Board to bring that experience I had learned here in Chicago, working with not only with clients but with government, developing codes and standards, and putting them into practice. And served on the Access Board for 7 years, which was a huge advantage in terms of understanding not only what was required, but why it was required. I had a terrific evolution from a design advocate into a professional architect. 9 years ago, I started my own business with 2 other associates from this firm, and now we have 20 people that are working for us, half of which is accessibility, and the other half is conventional architecture. I don't want to drop that conventional architecture part. I think that's important for me to keep an understanding of 1 foot in that and 1 foot in accessibility so that I know both sides of this. So it's working. It's working for us.
The It's Our Story project is a national effort to make disability history public and accessible. Visit us at www.itsourstory.org or on the It's Our Story project YouTube channel.